all friends of Carolyn Found, and we're the founders of the Hope for a Helmet group. And we just wanted to tell you a little bit about the events that led up to our decision to fight for helmet legislation in the state of Iowa.
I'm Olivia Lofgren and I'm 18 years old.
I'm Leah Murray and I'm 17 years old.
And I'm Caroline Voorhis and I'm also 17.
My neighbor, who's a lawyer, and I were talking one day in the neighborhood, and he said that Iowa is one of 3 states that doesn't have a helmet law, and that us and a group of people should work together to try and get a youth helmet law for the state of Iowa. So then we joined together, and that's where we're at, you know?
And then one day these two wrote a editorial that ran in the Press Citizen, and I saw it and I said, guys, I really want to help. From there we just met with a whole bunch of people throughout the community, politicians, people with public health and student health at Iowa, and we just sort of talked through what we wanted to do with Hope for Helmet, and sort of came up with our master plan, which was 17 and under moped helmet law. We didn't want to target adults, we didn't want to have to tell adults what to do, and we just wanted to keep it to mopeds, to keep it small and try and have more of a chance of getting it passed through.
Okay, the Hope for Helmet board is what we took with us to the Capitol. And so we kept this, we had this set up, and we had a thing of like Hershey Kisses, keychains, and then these pamphlets right here. So people could come and look at this and get pamphlets, talk to us, ask us questions.
In the meantime, before the next legislative session happens, we're just focusing on creating more alliances with different groups.
Yeah, I will go tell the boys to start calling them over there, so you guys can head over there and we'll go ahead and get started. Sound good? Okay, I'll go. What are you guys doing? I'm Kyson.
Hi, Olivia Lofgren.
Hi, I'm Leah Murray. And
Another one of us is coming. She's track practicing.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
So she's awesome.
Good to be here today. I will be really brief because you're going to hear from some folks here who have a really important message about helmets to talk to you about. I'm honored to be here. I've done this one time before. This issue really means a lot to me for a lot of reasons. I've known a personal friend of mine, Kay Graber, has been very involved in this for a lot of years up in Cedar Rapids, Mount Vernon, Cedar Rapids. There are a lot of folks who have been involved in this issue for a long time. So I'm just really happy to be here today. I'm on your side. I'm going to continue to work as long as and as hard as I can while I'm in Congress on this issue, and I'm truly privileged to be here today. Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
On the night of Thursday, August 11th, I drove home from my friend Blair's house, but not before I loaned my friend Caroline Found my sweatshirt so she wouldn't be chilly when she followed behind me on our family friend's moped.
It had been the perfect summer day. I had just registered for high school and was excited about all the opportunities I had ahead of me. As I walked to school, I saw Caroline Found, who was also registering for her senior year. She gave me a big hug as I went to get my picture taken for my school ID. Little did I know that would be the last time I'd ever get a big bear hug from Carol.
My mom asked me to go with her to pick up my sister at a friend's house. Despite her nagging, I just wanted to stay home and rest after a tiring day. Eventually, she convinced me to go, so I hopped in the car and headed towards where my sister was.
I met her at our family friend's house, and we looked through her graduation pictures, which is weird to think about now. We were at a red light, and she told me not to take Camp Cardinal because it was too steep for her moped to get up, and there weren't that many lights, and she was worried about deer. And then we went on to the Coralville Strip, and then we turned on to Mormon Trek. And then her moped lost control. It hit the curb and she jerked it away. And then I saw sparks fly. And at the time I thought everything was alright, but I stopped my car, put on my hazards, called my mom, and she told me to call 911. And I was hesitant to because I was like, this isn't that big of a deal. But I called 911, and then I started like freaking out because I got really worried. But I didn't want to cross the street because I thought a car was going to come out and hit me. But and then a few minutes later, my mom and my sister arrived, and I was just in the grass for probably 2 hours just bawling in the fetal position. And then my mom accidentally let it slip that she had died because I didn't know it.
I was actually in California. I was going on a few college visits, and I had no idea about anything until the middle of the night. My mom, dad, and I were sound asleep in our hotel, and then I heard my mom's cell phone ringing, and I figured like she doesn't know how to work her phone. I thought it was like a junk call or spam or whatever, so I like was confused, and I like went over to try and find her phone, and I remember looking at it, and I don't think it hit me right away because I was like, Mom, turn on the lights, and she could tell that something was wrong, and she's like, is anything wrong? And the first thing she thought about, I'm sure, were my brother and sister because we weren't with them, and I'm sure she thought something was wrong with them. So I was like, no, it's fine, but obviously it wasn't fine because it was Caroline. And then I read the text out loud to them that it was from my pastor, and it said, it was meant for my mom, obviously, it was on my mom's phone, but it said like, Caroline Found was in a tragic moped accident tonight and died instantly on impact. Just wanted you to know so that you could tell Caroline before anyone else told her.
I was like crying on the ground, and one of my sister's arms was around me, and then I felt another pair of arms around me, and it was Olivia. I was shocked and amazed because I thought it was going to be my other sister, but it was just nice to know she was there. So my parents drove me home, but I couldn't get her last words out of my head, and I kept saying them over and over again, and was basically going crazy. So they took me to the hospital where they gave me like pills so I would calm down. And yeah, I guess that's kind of where my night ended. But I haven't been able to take my hospital band off since, and it's kind of gross. But I don't know, it's just like a remembrance kind of thing, I guess.
After hitting the curb, Caroline flew into a tree in the median, hitting her head and dying instantly upon impact. She was not wearing a helmet at the time of the accident. Caroline was such an outgoing and amazing friend. Her loss was felt by everyone in the community. This all could have maybe been prevented if she was wearing a helmet. This is why we started Hope for a Helmet. We teamed up with the BIA before an important second trip to the Capitol to have our subcommittee hearing. Although we were unwilling to pass our bill out of subcommittee, we made huge strides and will continue to fight for this important law by reintroducing it in next year's session.
Right here. That just explained, this photo right here explained our personalities. She was always trying to make me laugh, or always trying to get anyone to laugh, and then she would just do the funniest things, so then you would just laugh. And then you didn't even know what you were laughing at sometimes because it was just like the like everything about her was funny, and like you would just laugh, you know. She was just that perfect person that would make you laugh. Like even if your worst day, you know, she'd always come in ready to hug you and be like, "How's your day so far?" in its first period. So you know, you don't really know how your day is going so far, but she just wants to know. And so I think that's something that even I miss now. Is like we all had newspaper together, and every newspaper day or every newspaper class period, she would run in and be like, "How's everybody doing?" You know, do her little pull-ups. And, you know, now it's just like, you know, we all try and carry her on and, you know, ask everybody how their day's going. But, you know, no one will ever be able to feel that, her personality to the fullest and be like, oh, crazy Caroline, you know. So I think that's something that this photo explains us completely and her completely.
She is really proud of her hair, which is why she liked these two. She's really big into volleyball. And her team had just won the state championship, and I'm sure you guys have read the articles of how she claimed they would win it a second year in a row, and they did. unfortunately she wasn't there to enjoy it though. But
one of the main things was just, even though I knew she was gone, a lot of times just like subconsciously my mind would be like, oh, I need to ask Caroline that or tell Caroline that, and obviously I couldn't do that anymore. One of the random things was that Caroline always knew, like, the Jesperson family, we were both really close with. She, sorry.
You're fine, honey.
I know. She knew, like, their birthdays and everything, and I had never, like, taken the time to write them down for some reason. And so she would always be the one that would, like, remind me, it's Jill's birthday, like, text her, send her a card or whatever. And so that was one of the hardest things, was that I just didn't know when their birthdays were.
This photo is a picture of me, Caroline V, and then Caroline Found. I think this is after second grade, our first day of first grade or something like that. And so we were always, you know, good friends through, like, the kickers and the basketball league that we did.
Oh, here's a good picture. This is the first day of second grade. So that's Olivia, and then me and Caroline. She went through a phase where she had a little bowl cut, kind of looked like a boy.
this one's before a Sunday school pageant. We are dressed as sheep in the stable. I guess a few of these just show how long we've known each other. This is when we were like 2 or 3. I think that was before preschool.
These are both letters that Caroline wrote to me for various birthdays. Let's see. This one, a line that sort of like summarizes our friendship. It says, "I'm so glad that we are best friends. You can always put a smile on my face, even with the most random things, from toothpaste to diseased cows," which I don't even really remember those 2 jokes, but it's just sort of an example of how any little thing turned into the funniest thing with Caroline. She made every situation just hilarious. "You will always be my best friend, from being born in the hospital to the end of our lives." So that, just going back to the fact that we were born like basically at the same time, and have been friends ever since.
It was my birthday party at a gym, or at the Iowa Gymnast, I think, the place somewhere over there. And, you know, Caroline was always, you know, the crazy one, always wanting to have a good time. So I think that photo is a good one. She was always in the little jumpy pin, the little foam pit. So I think that photo is a good example, too, of what kind of personality she had. She lived each day to the fullest, too. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's something that we can all take from her, you know. Just, you know, find a goal in the day and, you know, make sure you accomplish that, because that was just what she would do every single day.
She actually, like, lived up to so many cliches. Even though, like, normally you say, like, live each day to the fullest, and
she would.
She actually did that sort of a thing.
So until the next session starts, we will hopefully be meeting with Brain and Injury Association of Iowa, and then from there kind of spreading the word even more, making shirts, I don't know, anything you can think of, bracelets, swag, as Jeff Lauer from Brain Injury Association likes to call it, and spreading our message across the state, because that's one thing that the senator said we didn't really do enough of, that it wasn't a statewide issue yet. So that's what we'll be working on until the next session starts. And then after it does start, well, obviously, hopefully we'll be going and talking to all the senators and making it a real issue that, like, they need to focus on.
And then come August, we're going to start back up and really get back with the Brain Injury Association and meet every week again, like we were doing back a couple months ago. And then with that, you know, we'll start, you know, working our way back to the Capitol, getting our, talking with Joe Bolcom again, Dave Jacoby, etc., to try and get this to pass next session.
Hope for a Helmet has provided an outlet for just all the emotions that everyone felt after Caroline's death. It's given us something to focus on that will turn this horrible situation and put a little bit of a positive twist on it. Obviously, there's nothing you can do to take away the pain of losing Caroline, but if we could just make one thing better from her death, then we'll do it. And so that's what we've been focusing on with the helmet law. We just want to prevent anyone else in Iowa from having to go through the loss that we've gone through, that our whole community has gone through, of losing a special person.
I can't drive down Mormon Trek past the intersection of Melrose and Mormon Trek. I refuse to even drive by the accident site, let alone stop there, and I would just be too deja vu-ish. I'm afraid I'm gonna just remember that night again, and then I don't know, I'd have to pull over or something. I don't know, it'd just be too difficult. But yeah, I just can't. It's difficult for me to go by the tree because sometimes it makes me feel guilty.
It's been 262 days since the accident, and so each ribbon tied on represents a day that she's been gone, and I think it's a really great way to honor her